Had a nice night out here on the cow field. Fortunately, it seems like the cows aren't out here right now. All of the cow pies and whatnot are a little bit dried out, and I'm not having to worry about a herd wandering past me in the middle of the night, which I have had happen before, more than once. Just sitting here in the cow field doing my morning video edits, and I seem to be a little bit sore after yesterday. A couple of days in is kind of where the majority of the pain happens. Then it'll settle down into just low grade, hurt, tired, run down. I might be popping some ibuprofen along with my coffee this morning. Yesterday was another pretty pleasant day overall. I'm only doing 15, 18 miles a day, so I'm getting to take it pretty easy. Had a lot of fun visiting with a couple of people along the way, though I did have a conversation with somebody about how it is kind of unfortunate everything seems to be going the way of the AT. I talked to somebody who was out on the PCT last year, and they said they had to camp with somebody else about 80% of the time, which just tells you how big the numbers are on that trail. Versus, my year, of course, was COVID, but I camped with somebody 3 or 4 times the entire time. Somebody else had said their friends had done the Arizona Trail, and they were told that, oh yeah, come out here, you're not going to see anybody except in towns. It's just going to be really, really sparse. And I'm seeing 10 to 15 people a day. Now I am still in the first, 50 miles some stretch, so maybe that has something to do with it. It's also a weird year where people are bailing off the PCT, not unjustifiably due to all the snow. And thru hiking's just gotten more and more popular. Good thing is more and more people are coming up with these alternate trail proposals, which are going to be a lot sparser. So people like me that kind of want trail and wilderness, not, crowds and hand-holding, still have places to go. Unfortunately, today is the first of my resupplies. It's a little one. I carried some extra dinners because I'm really liking the beans and rice thing and the warm dinners. But I need to go in and get some snacks, maybe top off my battery. So I have, 12 miles into Patagonia. I'm going to try and hitch in. They moved the trail last year. It used to go straight through Patagonia. Now it goes 7 miles down the road, basically. So I figure quick hitch towards the end of the day, charge, and then try and get the heck out of there because, that's the more I do, the more I realize that the last thing in the world I want to do is stay in town, unless I have a nice cozy hotel room where I can charge and everything. And I can't afford to do that very often. When Jen and I were discussing resupplies, she was actually advocating for just skipping Patagonia and going straight on to the next one because the food carry, at this point, longer food carries are easily doable. It's just a little bit of an extra pain for the first couple of days when you've got 5-6 days of food on your back. But I wanted to be flexible, especially at the beginning of a hike, because it's hard to judge how much food you need. Normally, I bring too much food just because hiker hunger doesn't kick in for, 500 plus miles. And also, I wanted to have flexibility on not running low on power since I'm running with a new phone. Same as the CDT, I'm running with 2 Nightcore batteries, a 10K and a 20K. And that should be plenty to get me through, a week, even with my video editing and trying to post from trail on occasion. I did look into solar panels again because I am somebody who really wants solar to be better than it is when it comes to hiking. But it just does not make sense. For the reasonable solar system that I looked at, I basically could carry 4 of these batteries for the same weight. And you're not going to be able to charge enough. They don't work well under partial shade, so when you're walking along and you're in and out of sun. Plus, they're inefficient if they're not, pointed towards the sun, plus time of year. You're in the wrong time of year, and you're just not going to get a real efficient pull. Solar panels are great if you're in a base camp and you're going to be here for long periods of time. I live off of them when we're in the van. I have a deployable 100-watt panel. We're going to have them when we're on the boat because, there we are out and we can kind of position the panel specifically. But sadly, unless there's a big technology jump at some point here, they don't really work for hiking. I am seeing people with them out here right now, but I'm guessing within 100 miles, those are going to go in the bin. So I don't usually go into too much depth on food because it's like talking politics on the internet, no matter what, it seems to turn bad. Basically, I have enough meals to get me to Colossal Cave-ish. I just need to get snacks. This is enough snacks basically for today, so I hit it just about right. But it really depends on my hunger. When in doubt right now, I just throw in more of these. You know, these are 200 calories, the Nature's Bakery. And this is the one kind of Cliff Bar that I can still eat. You know, it's a solid 250 calories, and I just throw in a bunch when in doubt. Rest of the time, I try and have some bigger, heartier item. Trail mix right now, I'm going for kind of the less sweet, less peanutty, less M&M trail mix. And I also like having things to mix it up. So dried mangoes work pretty good for me. I also like crackers. I don't have any now because I ate them early, but Tabasco crackers or like the salt Triscuits are really good. These Crystal Light packets are just how I get water down. I usually have a hard enough time drinking enough water, especially at altitude, not so much here, or when it's cold. These just make it a little more palatable, and I can usually polish off, you know, a liter versus just sipping. And of course this stuff, this is my go-to breakfast. This one is, you know, a pound and change and will last me about 5-ish days depending. And then coffee. This is like a week, maybe. I don't want to run out of coffee. I didn't manage to get it on tape this morning, but I had coyotes all around me going off. Such a cool sound. Every time I'm planning one of these, I kind of think, oh, you know, maybe I'll start getting up earlier since I wake up pre-dawn anyway. Why not start hiking earlier? And then I get out here and I'm in such a better mood. I get really, really productive. And since I make videos and do everything off of my phone, I can get a lot done in those couple hours every morning sitting in the tent drinking coffee. You can see the trail's a little indistinct through here. Easy enough to tell where to go if you look at the map, but you can tell it's a lot of cattle trails. I think the official red line may be 100 feet off to my right. And there you go, there's a post up there. There are plenty of footprints. And I mean, as far as comparison to other trails, I am having to check my map here. There have been a couple of turns that would have been easy if I was just trying to I don't know, use my psychic powers to stick to the trail, where I would have gone the wrong direction. However, they do have a fair amount of signage once I was out of that initial mountain range. Since the last major trail I was on was the CDT, where I had to check my map, you know, constantly, because there were signed trails and the CDT might have been the lesser of those at any given junction. This is pretty relaxing. I have spied a few comments though from people who were newer or maybe came off the AT. The AT was really relaxing because you've got a blaze every like 200 feet or something. So if you haven't seen a blaze in the last 2 minutes, you are definitely off trail. I did run into people out there that got lost though. I remember I was staying at one hostel where this lady came in and she was just a mess, you know. Basically had been in a panic for hours, and she ended up on somebody's private driveway for like a mile or two going back into their property. I have also met more than one hiker named something along the lines of wrong way because of their habit to smoke so much THC that they lose awareness of where they are and go the wrong direction. Of course, now that I say that, especially because it's on video, stay tuned for me getting really, really lost somewhere up ahead. So as far as that soreness I said was kind of building, it's a little bit on my shoulders, a little bit on my legs, and just a bit around my neck, though I slept wrong on a pillow a couple of weeks ago and that's been bothering me off and on. Yay, getting old. The other reality that you don't see people mention too often out here, pretty much all of us gained some amount of weight off trail. So, okay, let's say I added 5-10 pounds. My pack weight is still in the low to mid 20s. However, that extra weight's still on my feet. So it is a little rougher on me initially just because of that. Oh, it feels good to be out here. I swear, if I could feel this happy when I was around my laptop and had an actual quiet circumstance to record, you guys would be seeing all sorts of videos from me. And we got turkeys. There, buddy. Ah, my old friends lenticulars. So that would be an indicator that a storm's coming if I didn't have enough reception to be able to check the weather and know there's a storm coming. Now that seems a little unnecessarily unfriendly. I'm guessing the tape is because, you know, somebody ran into the barbed wire. The wind and partial cloudiness has actually been pretty nice. I'm only filling up about 3 times a day and I'm not drinking a ton of water. Versus, you know, hot desert, I can sometimes go through like 7 or 8 liters in a day. Cow fields and almost getting knocked over by wind. It's like I'm right back on the CDT. Okay, I guess this is my opportunity to hitch into Patagonia. We'll see how this goes. This is the point where I start really missing taters because hitch bait is a thing. They do not make it real easy to get off the trail here. I had to kind of hop a divider fence, but I'm sitting at and there's no place to hitch, so I'm at a thing a little ways down the road. Where's the burger place you said?
The burger place is another at the end of this block.
Okay, got picked up after only about 5 minutes by a nice lady. And now I am just gonna grab a burger and then get food and then try and get back to the trail where the weather turns. Okay, so the bar was closed, but the coffee shop was open, so I made that work. And now to grab 4 days of food and then get the heck up the hill so I can find someplace secure for tonight. Not quite ideal, but I'm in a hurry and I don't feel like triaging things. Bit too much junk food, but I'll make it work. It's just a little more volume than I'd prefer. So the park is under construction. The place I got coffee isn't open anymore, and the bar wouldn't even fill up my water bottles. Did meet another hiker though, and a local gave me quarters for a water machine, which is apparently back across town. I've been running across like 10-15 people a day, and I'm hearing that people are jumping off the CDT and the PCT for this. So one of the locals who had given me some quarters at the bar came over, drove me over to the water machine, and then back to the trail. And as you can see, a fun-looking storm going in. I ran across Harry Potter and a few other people who had come in from various roads. Most of them were going to hunker in town, see how bad the weather was going to be. I had kind of a rough year on the off season, living in campgrounds with taters back in Southern California. So I will take a windy, rainy bush out here over yet another loud in-town campground. Thank you very much. So I don't know if I'm missing anything here, but this is how I got on and off trail. Looks like perfectly reasonable conditions to be hiking out of town in. Just ran into Baptist again, getting to the road just as I was leaving. Seems like people are getting into town by a lot of different routes. Seems to be a good amount of people taking zeros and things around town. So I talked to at least 3 of them just in my little visit. Meanwhile, I'm just hoping there's a town with, you know, an affordable hotel with Wi-Fi access in the next, 100 miles somewhere. Because I'm not having much luck uploading off the local cell towers. It's fine to text, download whatever I want, but yeah, the uploads aren't great. First world YouTuber problems. I am always appreciative of water caches, but sometimes you gotta wonder why here. There was water only 2 miles back or so. Okay, considering the weather rolling in, this might be my best option as far as a refuge. It looks like I'm going to be high up on a ridge for at least 5 miles, and at least the gut hook comments say there's no decent campsite up there except for bivvying straight on the trail. And of the things I really hate, bivvying straight on the trail and sleeping in outhouses are 2 of my pet peeves, so not doing that. So yeah, 12 miles today. At least I got my resupply, so I've got a clear run on Colossal. And I can eat a little bit of weight before setting out. If the weather is too bad, I can always delay here, but I don't want to get too far off the plan for meat and taters. Seem pretty well situated and on sloping ground, so even if it does really start raining, I'll be fine. Home sweet home for the night.